thing was I attended a rec meeting, and some of the folks on rec had started thinking about this, and one gentleman had gotten a quote for like $7,500. I gave that to Michael, I believe, and I said, go with it. Michael said, no, that one at $7,500 is kind of like a tinker toy. It wasn't really what the township would need, and unfortunately, the cost is more than that, which is why Brad's offer of 50-50 is really good, because if Brad's offer of 50-50 gets us back to like more like the $8,000 range, you know, or $9,000 range. So, you know, I don't know, Michael, if you want to just go ahead and summarize or provide, but
it's pretty simple, straightforward, and unfortunately, you cannot purchase a sign and hook it up that unless it's a sign that we would all be very sorry we put up there and very embarrassed about. I mean, if we're going to put a sign up there that's visible, it's going to have to be at least a decent sign with some capabilities for changing messages and so forth.
How about if we put Kalari in a sandwich board sign?
Yeah,
and
Bell.
These are clearly not Rolls Royce signs. We got prices. I sent you all the stuff. I mean, we got prices of 30-some thousand, whatever.
And Mike, it's compliant with our ordinance,
Yep,
right?
compliant. Yes. We make sure it's compliant with the order. We got the one contractor to revise his quote to get it under the bid threshold. So there's actually a fairly nice sign. That's the one Daktronics quote that's for $17,000. I mean, it's two-faced. I mean, the $7,000 might have been a single-faced sign.
I don't think
because if you're going to put it there, it's got to be two-faced.
It does.
So
it does.
Well, you know, I'm thinking that's probably what somebody got a quote on.
And that's why I gave it to you.
There's a lot of other equipment, and whether it's hardwired or whether it's, you know, remotely, there's a lot of stuff. But these are Chevys. This is not the Rolls Royce signs. The Rolls Royce signs, we're talking $30,000-$40,000, which is way out and ridiculous. So it would be a nice sign. It would serve the purpose, and you get the school board to split the cost. Great. So
Can you send them a copy of it?
I did. Yeah.
The school board?
Oh! I thought you said that you sent me a copy.
No.
No, I didn't know. I didn't do anything. I can.
You know what?
Or should I?
No, send it to you. Just give me that one quote, separate from the others. I'll send it to Brad. I'll send it to Brad Perrone, and I'll ask him to talk to the school board about it in terms of whether they'd be interested in splitting the cost. If everybody's in agreement with that.
What's the size?
The size is, again, it's two-sided, 4 foot high by 9 foot wide, basically.
That's big.
So it's a sheet of plywood, in essence. Yeah. But if you're going
to... Is it on a pedestal? What's the floor to top of the sign? I mean, grass is the top of the sign. Is it on a pedestal, or is it...
Well, the foundation is, no, it's on just a slab of concrete. I mean, we
so
want to get into more decorative, that's
extra
stuff
money
that we're going to have to talk
it.
about
Yeah,
as well. Because I think you might want to consider that after you get past the cost of the sign and choosing a sign. Tom, it's only, this is off the ground, so it's 4 feet high.
Yes, you probably would want to put it on something.
Yeah, you want to put it on a pedestal.
You would want to do that.
Got it.
Yeah.
What's the cost?
Yeah, if you look, I mean, I sent all this stuff to you. I know it's a lot of stuff I sent from time to time.
You said 17,000. So
Yes, they're on a little on.
All right, I'll send it to Brad and just say, look, that you took a look at it. You solicited quotes. This is the one that you think it's the Chevy, not the Rolls Royce, but it would service the town.
Maybe a Buick.
A Buick.
Maybe a
All
little
right.
nicer.
Well, okay, fair enough.
Something you like.
All right, two items left. This is resolution. Thank you, Mike. This is resolution 2012-90, and this is in here.
Yes.
In the back, I'm assuming, right?
It's just not numbered, right?
That's okay. I'll find it. I just won't look at the number. I will look at the caption only.
There's the resolution, Pat.
Resolution for,
Supporting assembly bill.
yeah, it says 88.
Yep. So it's 90. This is a resolution that the League of Municipalities requested municipalities to show their support for the Assembly bill, which is requiring the direct payment of energy taxes to the municipal government as opposed to it going to Trenton, trying to return things to the good old days. So this is, again, resolution supporting Assembly Bill A 2753, requiring direct payment of energy taxes to municipal government. I would like to make that motion. Okay, a comment? Roll call?
Perez?
Yes.
Siegel?
Yes.
Valari?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yes.
Toriello?
Yes.
Next one is under committee items, tab.
That's why I can't, okay, so. Really?
During
Oh,
cover.
I see, it's the, okay, so this, we received solicitation from the Sussex Warren Family Success Center, Project Self-Sufficiency, I guess. It's to prevent child abuse, and they're seeking participation from Warren County municipalities. This is not requiring, as I understand it, Kim, necessarily funding. This is looking for support in terms of
Having our name
saying that we endorse this program, this campaign to prevent child abuse.
Yeah, there's quite a few towns that have signed up for this.
Okay.
So when they go to do their advertisement for this, we'll be listed at least.
Okay.
Spend money.
Right. Okay. So, do we need a motion? I'd like to make a motion to support, the Sussex Warren Partnership to prevent child sexual abuse. Okay, a comment, roll call?
Perez?
Absolutely.
Siegel?
Yes.
Valari?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yeah.
Toriello?
Yes. Okay, finally, done with my agenda items.
Go on, Marie. Please.
Now for the 8:30 agenda item.
I'm sorry, I was doing well this year, but the wheels came off the bus tonight, I acknowledge that. Thank you.
I'll see you in church.
Thank you.
See you too.
You're gonna go first. Okay, Dawn Marie Condos, 1911 Gary Road. I'm here as the chair of the Open Space Committee. Also in the audience is Doris Rayner, chair of the Agricultural Board, and Brooke Walt, a seasoned open space member. This is my 2012 report. I'll give you handouts. Greenwich Township, I'm pleased to announce that Greenwich Township received $500,000 in new farmland preservation funding under the PIG grant, the Planning Incentive Grants, from the state last month. This is a state, county, and township matching grant that will be available for our use in 2013 and beyond for our preservation initiatives on the farmland side. The state, as a side note, or actually a good antidote, the state and the farming community continues to be impressed with our township's level of commitment to farmland preservation. During this economy, when other municipalities are bailing on the program, Greenwich has been able to create success in preserving development-targeted properties at favorable prices. This has been, we've been able to reduce basically the township burden on its residents for what it would have been for required services if we had the development, which would have been police, EMS, DPW, as well as further constraining our school budgets. A shining example of long-term strategic vision executed by this township, and congratulations is in order. In line with our recently adopted open space and recreation plan that was filed in 2011 as an element of our master plan, we declined to apply for additional Green Acres funds. Our acquisition goals for active as well as passive recreation have been fulfilled with our last two acquisitions that closed out in 2010. As a side note, our goal was based upon a state-defined needs assessment formula, which we have satisfied, coupled with input for the Recreation Commission at that time. We also have passed our first Green Acres inspection and have been deemed in compliance with the regulations. An official report should come out to the town next month. Congratulations. The closing of our next farmland preservation initiative, approximately 66 acres at the edge of downtown, is scheduled for mid-January 2013. This is the culmination of 2 very long years of collaborative hard work and exceptional negotiations. We now have an executed contract in place that will cost the Township Trust 0 acquisition dollars and only 50% of the soft costs. It will be free to the county and significantly discounted to the state due to a very generous federal grant that we are receiving. The neighboring residents are ecstatic. A local farmer is eyeing this property for purchase once preserved. The developer is very glad to make a return on this investment in the land, and incremental tax burden on our residents were eliminated. A win-win for all parties. We also hired an extremely reputable preservation firm, Conservation Resources, Inc., to help us continue our farmland preservation goals with our experienced veteran, Bob Knase, at our disposal. The funding of this comes from our Open Space Trust. Land developers who need to cash out of their currently idle assets are contacting us as our next generation farmers. We have 3 of them, basically, who would like to acquire these preserved lots for their own stake. We are currently in various stages of discussions with 4 parties at this time. Facilitating this type of partnership in 2013, we continue to strengthen our credibility and reputation in the community as a township serious about our master plan, as well as supporting the economic viability of farmer. Again, another win-win for all parties. So, after 10 years of driving preservation efforts for this township, I'm very pleased to announce that our preserved acreage increased from 0 to 1,300 acres. 72% is farmland, 28% is open space. And you see how I got the calculations there, courtesy of Mike Finelli going forward. That said, through our preservation planning results, which is also an element of our master plan, we deliver on our pledge to preserve our quality of life as well as our agricultural heritage in Greenwich. We're very proud of these accomplishments thus far. Personally, for me, the results of my volunteer efforts is my legacy I'm leaving to the township for generations to come. In closing, Doris, myself, and Brooke would like to thank the current as well as the prior township committees, the state, the counties, our professionals, and he knows who he is sitting there, but most of all the residents of Greenwich Township who have shown amazing and consistently high level of support throughout the years. It's our pleasure and honor to serve the residents of Greenwich Township in this capacity. Respectfully submitted, Dawn Marie Condas, Chair of Open Space, Doris Rayner, Chair of Agriculture
Thanks, Dawn Marie. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you, Doris. Thank you. Truly, you know, it's really an interesting thing, and just anecdotally, when I ran for office, and when shortly after I had received the results, you know, after the November election, and I knew that I'd be entering public service, one of the attorneys in my office pulled me aside, who's been doing this now, God, it's got to be 30-some years, and said, I'm going to give you one tip, and if you follow it, you'll never make a mistake in public office. The best rateable is open space. And I looked at her, I said, what do you mean by that? And she said, don't get caught in the ratables chase. Everybody, when you get pulled in at ShopRite and they say, where's the development? Where's the income? Where's the income? She said, when somebody tells you that, run. They mean well. Their heart is in the right place, but they're always wrong, because cornfields don't need desks. They don't need fire trucks. They don't need police. And it is such a, and when she said that to me, I said, my God, it's such a simple concept that gets lost all the time. And I'm not going to point fingers at very close neighboring municipalities who have had significant tax increases, who have a reputation of paving every corner of town. And it's not a coincidence that certain local municipalities next to us who don't have cornfields, because there's asphalt paved everywhere, have such a higher tax burden than us, because they're taking that different approach. It's good for, and look, I'm not saying I'm hostile to development. Every town needs development, appropriate development, managed development. But when you're paving over every corner of a town because you think you're going to increase revenues, you're guaranteed to cause a burden on the taxpayer. And that's just talking about the money.
Well, let me just
We're not even getting into quality of life in terms of aesthetics. and allowing farmers to farm and all these other different side things that come out of it. And you know, that's one of the main reasons why I came to Greenwich. Just driving through here, I was like, you know, every day as a litigator, I get off exit 4 and I turn that corner and it's like, it's like relaxing because, you know, we're in New Jersey, but we're not. It's like this little oasis. And thank you, all of you, for, you know, preserving that for not only us, but for future generations.
I just want to make one point. I mean, it's not like we go out willy-nilly and preserve every space either. There is a master plan.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
There's a master plan that says this is the area for preservation, this is the area for development, and this is the area, and we have a pretty decent area for business and commercial development.
Good point.
We don't preserve commercial, we don't go near there, to be honest with you, because that's been deemed by, you know, the powers to be and the township committees, the residents, the planning boards over the years, that that's where we develop. We do it where we're supposed to, basically.
Right.
Where the residents have asked, where the zoning is, where the master plan tells us to, so to speak. So I just want to make sure, because
That's a good point.
we get a lot of feedback where, you know, you're preserving places where we should have businesses. Well, no, we're not,
Right.
okay? There's a, you know, Mike will tell you, the strip alongside of town, okay, where there's sewer, okay? We don't preserve where there's sewer, because that doesn't make sense.
Right.
You know, I mean, we preserve
That's an important
where there's
point.
not sewer,
That's an important
basically. So, so we do it carefully, and we do it in alignment, in accordance with the master plan.
Right.
So, does
Thank
anybody
you.
have any questions?
You're not leaving, right?
What?
You
No,
don't
I
plan on
hope
leaving.
not.
Neither one of you's plan on leaving, right?
No,
No.
we're going to be here, as long as you'll have us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, I believe we were talking about this before. One of the reasons I built here is when you come down over the Touchdown Mountain and you see
that
the,
wide open green
yeah,
patch?
yeah.
It is, it's very,
Very
we live in a special place, we really do.
Be careful
Really
what's
good.
up for sale.
You have some, ooh, where did these come from?
There was just one more item on my section of the agenda. It is Jeff Jewell came in and took a look at our recording device, and Graham Coe and Jeff Jewell came up with a cost analysis to install a camera for recording our meetings, that our meetings would be the ownership of the township and could be reviewed in their entirety. And the proposal is there, and it's a reasonable amount of money. But there are also other things that Jeff Jewell wanted the township to review, also there. And did you have a chance to talk to Remco today when he was here?
Yes, okay, how this would work out. We just got today installed the new system. This was $3,000. But hopefully we're gonna get a lot back from FEMA for the damage from the hurricane or the storm, Sandy. So how this is gonna work out is you would link a camera up here to the ceiling. Well, if he goes further back, he'll catch all of us, because you guys will be smaller. You know, he said so, but it will be here for.
What's most
All right,
important,
so
they'll be
this is-
attached to the sound system.
Merry Christmas,
It will
ladies.
be here, it's linked into our sound system so that as it's recording, it's videotaping and going into our system. So everything there is on the hard drive. Right from there, it can just get shot right to
Webpage.
Webpage. And we can set it right up. So it's linked right into our recording system. So that's $1,900.
No editing.
Raw.
And so he said, you know, he just came today, he spent, you know, quite a few hours, Dan met him, Mike and Graham Cohen was talking about it, and, you know, we have a maintenance contract with this, everything is, you know, so it would just, like here, and just
Easy
record.
on and off, so when we don't do it, I can just jab.
It would go off when I hit
Okay.
Everything
stop.
would be controlled here, so there would be no,
Through the system
Temporary.
here.
Right.
So then, you know, as we're speaking, it's recording. Once we stop, you know, and I shut it off and it stops.
Makes sense to me. Do we need to do anything to,
Well, if
under the bid threshold.
you would need to make a motion authorize this.
Well, he was gonna do a demonstration for us, wasn't he? The guy that was here today?
He said he could come back
He said he'd come in and do
and
a
put something
demonstration so that
in.
we can see what it looked like.
Good.
What's the amount?
1,900.
But this is the one that goes with this system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
so there's
goes with
one,
this system.
yeah.
This is the system that is really the only system that is approved through court.
Right.
Through the state of New Jersey, through the court system. I can't go and get another vendor to,
There's no
this is-
copy.
Gramco is
Right.
the
If it's
state
approved by the
contracted
judiciary, that's
vendor.
good enough for me. They're in the business of maintaining records.
He's a state contract.
Oh, state contracted, okay.
Yes.
Here,
Is
get rid of them.
$1,900
No, man.
not the bid threshold?
No, you have to get quotes if you're 15% of the bid threshold, which I think is what. I was just gonna do that calculation.
Yeah, no, but I knew that Gramco was already authorized
But they're authorized by the state then.
by our court system. No,
You're okay.
and that's all I have.
Is there a motion to,
Did you want us, he's the only one that can do this for us, right?
and this is the one that goes with
It
the
goes
system?
with the
Yeah, I understand that. I was just, my only thing was just, and he wanted to see what it would look like before we looked to do it, because he was willing to come in and show to us.
I'm sure that he will do a good job for $1,900 on this system,
Yeah.
because this is a state authorized.
Okay.
I think because if this is a vendor that's approved by the judiciary and integrates with our system, I would just, my God, just do it. Yes, please, get rid of it. Here,
No,
Dan.
I'm saying eat something.
No. Keep it.
Brought them from
Don't- Do not, do you want to make, is there a motion to authorize this? To authorize the purchase of this
Yeah,
camera system in the amount of $1,900?
This is 19.
Approximately.
Just-
No, he actually put
How about this?
together.
Not to exceed $2,500.
No, I keep it under 15% of the 17.5.
Okay.
So not to exceed 2,000.
Okay, not to exceed 2. Like 15% of 17,500 is what number?
Yeah, because if they say 2 and then it comes in 2,100, this is gonna be like
2,000.
That works.
Of
15% of 17.5.
Yeah, 'cause the-
17,000 1,750.
$17,500
Oh.
times 5.15. What does that equal?
17,000.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
bid threshold.
No, I know exactly what it is, but I'm
75.
wondering why we're talking, okay, $20,000.
No.
No.
15% of 17.5. Like 2,400 bucks.
10% is 1,700.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2,000's fine.
Yeah,
2,000.
2625.
Okay.
26.
Oh, you could do up to 25.
So there you go. You know what though, if he said 1,900, let's just keep
Well, it said
it.
approximately. It
Right.
says approximately.
But not to
The
exceed
approximate cost
$2,500.
would be.
Okay, so is there, do I have a motion to authorize the procurement of the video camera system that integrates with our current system in a cost not to exceed $2,500?
Yes.
Make a
Have that
motion.
motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Comment? Roll call?
Perez,
Yes.
Siegel,
Yes.
Laurie,
Yes.
Giuliani. Yes. Torriello.
Yes. What
Yeah.
about your ordinance?
Oh, I almost forgot about this
I was
ordinance.
gonna ask you what was happening.
Ordinance 2012, this is the first reading of this ordinance. 2012, 20. Are you sure that's right, the right number?
Yeah.
Okay. It's an ordinance amending chapter 21,
Yes.
21, yeah.
9.7 of the Greenwich Township ordinance is entitled Sewer User Fees to provide a 10% reduction in residential sewer user fees to qualified senior citizens and disabled persons. This actual ordinance was done in 2010.
It was drafted in 2010, it was never adopted.
Never adopted, we just kind of
I
went to the
think-
wayside.
Well, yeah, I think there were, in 2010, I think there were issues at that
We had to
time
resolve
with respect to the sewer rates. Or
And-
not the rates, the amount that was in the sewer budget or something.
Yes.
And so it never went anywhere in 2010.
Right. And we've reviewed it and looked at it, and we think that it's a good idea to pass on a 10% reduction.
Yeah, now the way this ordinance is structured is it's a 10% reduction to persons 65 or more, provided that they meet certain income requirements. Specifically, it's under the pharmaceutical assistance to the aged and disabled, which is on the state's webpage. Their numbers change every year. Currently, for 2013, this would be for individuals that are single that make less than $25,743 a year, or married couples that make less than $31,563 a year, age 65 or older. It also applies to the disabled with the same financial classifications, which is defined by the Department of Veterans Affairs if disability is rated at 60% or higher. And there's a mechanism in here to make all of this happen in terms of, what
It's
proof
by
they...
application, and Lorraine is going to review it.
Well,
the actual process, to see that it works with the rate we do.
The process that I'm talking about is that proof of
Yes.
age and income under this ordinance is, I think I have this under the town clerk, that in order to qualify for a discounted sewer user fee, in the case of a disabled person, must apply to the township clerk for the discount and meet all of the following requirements, since they're listed there. So, and the same thing. So,
Okay.
I mean, unless you...
Well, I think because it's documentation that needs proof and probably some sort of authorization by you as the clerk of the township, so that it meets the state statutory requirements.
This is modeled right after the
Yeah.
statute.
It would also, this would also.
The 10% though was in your discretion. It can be any percentage that you want to authorize. The statute just permits it to happen.
Understood.
Can we talk about this now, or do we have to wait till
This is
something?
first reading.
Well, I understand it, but I'd like to understand why now, and with not really knowing what's going to happen at Phillipsburg with these increased sewer costs, why would we be entertaining this on December 20th? I mean, this was something that was out there 2 years ago, and then all of a sudden resurfaced for the last meeting of the year. So I'm trying to understand this, because
First of all, the increase for, this would be a nominal fee to actually give the senior citizens a discount.
do we know how many seniors would be eligible for
I
this?
think we went as far as 25. There was about 25 maybe.
I don't remember.
We were using some sort of number.
I think if the statute permits providing the relief I originally had concerns with this when I heard about age, because I didn't, but when I heard it was age coupled with income, and as long as income is the driving force of it, to the extent that the legislature has conferred upon us the ability to provide relief to those of financial hardship, I think it's a good idea.
And we do have senior relief and other things, and we have a page on our website, so that this would just be an added.
What are those other things?
The taxes. There's a rebate. Lorraine put it all up this year.
Yeah, and there's also something right now for veterans. We have on our website. There's relief for veterans as well. But that's a separate program. That has nothing to do with us. The state.
It's an area.
2 years ago, this was started?
It was begun. Yeah.
I guess the concern, that I do have a concern with this, because you're talking a subset of the residents in Greenwich that are paying into the sewer, and any increased costs, this might be nominal, but any increased costs are going then to be, passed off to the other residents.
No,
who are-
not
No.
necessarily.
No.
That's not the way.
No,
it is.
that's not.
How does it work?
Because it's based on
It's based on
we
price.
in Greenwich, we don't charge based on use.
Oh, I know that.
It is
That's right. The homes are a flat fee right now.
right.
Yeah, no,
And if the flat fee goes up, it goes up for everybody, and 10% would still be the factor used as a discount, no
Then I
matter what.
must be missing something, because if you're reducing the rate for someone, and the rates go up, when,
We're reducing it at 10%, so that if the rates go up,
10%
they
off
would
the
still
increased
have a
rate.
10% discount. It's still, it's.
It doesn't have to be made up, remember that.
okay. So just one more question, and I guess I would like, if you could answer why tonight.
Well, this is just one of those things that we had on the burner that just never.
Yeah, but 2 years ago. Lane, this is December 20th, your last meeting, 2 years ago. Why tonight? And out of the blue.
It isn't out of the blue. The sewer subcommittee has talked about it and talked about it and talked about it.
So why December 20th, your last meeting?
Because this was something that I left undone, that I'm finishing before I leave. That's why.
Any other comments?
The only issue I have with it is just that, you know, again, I feel excluded because, you know, as a committee, this should have been something that we all got to talk about somewhere, somehow down the line.
There have been readings of ordinances here that have absolutely been a part, I mean.
Elaine, I don't recall any of that, to be honest with you. And I don't recall us sitting here and having any type of, I think it's a great idea. Don't get me wrong, okay? It's a good idea to try to help these people who don't have the money and who are senior citizens and who are disabled. I don't have an issue with that. My only issue is that we didn't talk about this as a group.
We're doing that
And we
now.
would do that
Yeah, I
at
know,
the
we're doing
sewer
that now,
subcommittee.
but then we gotta vote on it. And you know, when I was talking to Lorraine about it, because when I saw it and I was talking to her, you know, she says that there are a lot of things also too that has to be done by the CFO with this. You know, there may be more work for her in order to do a lot of stuff. And let me just.
She didn't, as of tonight, when I talked to her, she hadn't even read the ordinance.
Well, I brought it up to her, we did talk about it, you know, and these were the things that she said to me. So all I'm saying is just that, you know, we just need to have better communication among the group. You know, and I know that you're leaving, Lorraine, but, you know, I hope that for the future, you know, that next year we could sit down as a full committee and sit down and talk about things, you know?
Yeah, what do you mean by, no,
But you're not on the sewer subcommittee, I mean, this
Okay.
isn't something that we just talk about.
But-
The sewer subcommittee
but
makes
you-
recommendations.
But you're putting something before the group that you want us to vote on.
Dan, we're talking about it now. If we're not talking about it now, and you feel that we should have talked about it as a group, and it's not here, where would it be without violating the sunshine law?
We could talk about this without having to take a vote tonight. We can discuss all this stuff and make sure that all the areas are covered. That's all I'm saying, Joe.
And then the other thing
Yeah.
too is we have to have another special meeting before the end of the year.
We would have to have that.
And come on, what are we talking, New Year's Eve? That's ridiculous that we're gonna meet New Year's Eve to have a second reading of an ordinance that's been out there for 2 years. 2 years.
You know, I'm going to say this only because Elaine had said that this is something that, you know, has been on her plate for a while, and leaving office, this is something she would like to see finished as her last act as an elected official. And if I had given, you know, I'm only year one in, but if I had given 10 years of service and on my last way out, I was looking at my inventory of things that I wanted to accomplish, and there was one thing left undone, and wanted to get it done. I'm fine with a special meeting to achieve that if this is something that is important to her and wanting to accomplish. I don't see the harm in providing relief to those in need, and if this is something that, you know, she wants to do it, it's a perfect time of the season to do it.
It's really, I would rather do it before we have any further increases so that it's something that's ready to go.
And I understand it's a small amount of folks, but, you know, if I was one of those 25 families that needed the relief, I would hope that, you know, if the statute provided the relief, that my elected officials, you know, would offer it.
So the requirement for this discount is you have to be at least 65, and your single income at how much, Brent?
These go up every year slightly, but for 2013 on the state's website right now, what they're saying for 2013 is if you're single, less than $25,743 in income a year, or if you're married, less than $31,563 now, or whatever your income was, but the year before you didn't make more than $10,000.
So we had 25 families in Greenwich and Wyndham, that's where they would be.
I don't know.
Greenwich and Wyndham.
I don't know the
It's
number.
where the sewer subcommittee, it's where
No,
the
that's where
service areas
that's who
are.
has sewer.
Yes, I know that.
Wyndham and Greenwich.
Exactly.
And we're saying that we have, I know we have people there 65 years, but we have people there, single income, in those homes, less than $25,000 income.
And
Then they don't qualify. It's there if they have the ability to qualify.
and they have to be 65 or older, or they have to be disabled in these definitions.
Yeah, it's going to apply to the code in reality.
And this is why.
Because they're on a fixed income, or well, a lot of people are on fixed income, especially if they're over 65.
I'm on a fixed income.
You know, it's a step in the right direction.
But, you know, and I don't want to look like I'm against doing this for the senior citizens and disabled and all that. I really don't. But this is why we should have had a discussion about this sooner. Not as a, and I understand you want to close some doors and some things, but to just throw it on the table now at the very end like this, and
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Elaine, you probably should recuse yourself from this, from the vote.
No, because I don't pay sewer. I don't pay the bills because my mother pays the bills.
Well, I don't actually see the ordinance as an affordable housing
Yeah, it's not
ordinance.
it's just on the
Under the
same
statute, it's
Right.
not tied to affordable
But I think
housing.
Kim's point is that's where the people are.
Even if it was, even if it was someone living in an affordable housing unit would not be conflicted out because you would be taking a position that only someone who is rich can pass an ordinance for people who are poor, and you can't distinguish based upon income. So by making a statement that you live in an affordable housing unit, therefore you can't vote on an ordinance that affects people who live in an affordable housing. In essence, what you're saying is only people who make more money than you can make.
No, what I'm saying is Elaine's living in COA housing where her mom would be possibly eligible for this discount
It's not a
that she's
conflict.
putting on the table.
It's not about the affordable housing.
Put
It is
affordable
about-
housing to the side.
You will, all right, put affordable housing to the side.
Any other comments? Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 2012?
Well, it's first reading.
I'm sorry, a motion, I'm sorry, yeah.
So Brent, you don't see a conflict with this?
Actually, I do not see a conflict with this ordinance as written, which is about senior citizens and disabled persons under certain income levels. It's not tied necessarily to affordable housing. While it may affect people in affordable housing, it can also affect people that are not in affordable housing units.
So you're saying if my father was 65 and disabled and living in Stewartsville, I'd have to recuse myself because it affects him?
If you lived in a unit that had sewer.
Right, that had sewer, I'd have to walk out on that.
There could be
Because
some
it
houses
happens
out
to
there on.
fall
Well,
in
let
that?
me ask. Let me put it on the table. Okay, I'm in the. I don't want to belabor this. I'm in a development that pays sewer. Okay, it's Wyndham Farms and Greenwich Chase.
Right.
So I'm in that development. I'm on the committee. Let's say I'm 65 and I meet your income criteria. Okay. I'm going to sit here and be able to vote on this, or I'm going to be able to put that resolution out there.
Let me just talk it out loud and think it through. Under the Supreme Court guidance, the conflict of interest is not an actual conflict. It's broader than that. It's whether or not there's a potential for a conflict. And the way that's described in the by the New Jersey Supreme Court is whether or not there is a tugging or a pull of the municipal official in one direction that is not shared in common with that of the general public. So that is the test.
That's a great.
That is a great-
I've never heard it put that way.
I honestly have never heard that
Well, and
verbiage
actually
that way.
that is the local government ethics law. That is the theme that runs throughout all of it. And the local government ethics law was actually codified as a result of that
Right,
Supreme
yeah.
Court decision. So the issue is whether or not if you were 65 or older and met these minimum income requirements, if you would be pulled in one direction or another on voting on this because you have an interest that's different from that of the general public. So, what does everybody think? Maybe the answer to that is.
No, the answer is this is for those who are who have a financial need, which is not advancing the personal interest of anyone here, but of the constituents that we serve. So there's clearly no conflict.
I mean, maybe it's, speak freely, but maybe it's somewhat analogous to Obama, right? Saying that he wants to tax everybody that makes more than $250,000 a year. He himself does make more than $250,000 a year, yet he would be the person that would be signing into law. There's not a conflict there. And the issue, the same issue would apply there, whether or not he has an interest that, well, anyway, it would be a different issue there. I'm talking about the President of the United States, but that is the test. So ask yourself that question, and what result do you come up with?
For any reason, I have been the person who has recused myself on many issues throughout these 10 years. I do not see a conflict
Okay.
there. So I make a motion.
Well, this is just the first reading. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll second it. Any comments? So we just read it now.
Well, yeah. You're making a motion for first reading on ordinance number 2012-20 entitled "An Ordinance Amending Chapter 21, Section 21-9.7."
You did. I think you did.
Did you read all this?
Yes,
Okay.
I did.
All right. So.
But we have to see
It
the
just-
date.
Okay. But right now they're just doing a motion on the first reading.
It was made by Elaine, seconded.
Okay.
Roll call.
Perez.
No.
Siegel. Valori.
Yes.
Miliani.
Yes.
Toriello.
Yes. You want to set a date now?
Well, yeah, you would have to have now a motion. You should have a motion now to schedule a special meeting
I'll make a motion to schedule a special meeting.
for the purpose of having
A public hearing on ordinance number 2012-20.
And can we also just include on there payment of bills?
Payment of bill.
Sure.
Yeah, include that.
And maybe a presentation for because this is a special meeting, a presentation for recreation.
They had another meeting tonight at dinner or
Oh.
something. That doesn't have to be on the agenda, right?
Anything that you're going to discuss that night needs to be on the agenda. So is that going to involve any sort of discussion?
We'll put it on there, invite them.
Just
if they don't
gonna,
have to,
she's
just
gonna stand here,
email
they're
them.
just gonna come up and present our.
Yeah, put it on.
Yeah. I'll
Put it on. Say
Put it on, I'll invite them. If they don't show, they get it. Drop them on.
Well, you know.
I know.
The,
put it on
note,
the notes,
the
'cause
notice should
you're-
say acknowledgement of acknowledgement of service of recreation volunteers. Acknowledgement of service of certain recreational volunteers.
So this is the 31st at what time?
Can we do in the afternoon?
I have no problem.
I'm not paying for it.
Just so you know, I will not be here.
Okay. What time? You tell me.
The earlier the better.
Yeah,
Okay.
You want to do 12 o'clock?
12 noon, I mean, would be
12
fine.
o'clock.
Okay, who's making the motion for this?
Joe did.
I made the
Oh,
motion.
Joe made the motion and you seconded it?
Comment?
If I can make it. I don't know if I can make that, to be honest.
Is that a yes or no to advertise this meeting?
Oh, you're not
Oh,
calling the vote?
to advertise the meeting?
Are you calling the vote now?
Well, Joe made the motion, Elaine seconded it.
Okay, you've had discussion, so this is a vote.
Yeah.
This is to vote to have a special
Is
meeting.
that the meeting? You can have it anyway, yeah.
Siegel? No. Lori?
Yes.
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 All right, next. Where are we at?
Tom, we're gonna skip your first item, right?
Okay.
We have blue light approvals.
Find out on that one.
Read it now.
I have 3 blue light approvals, applications for a blue light permit. One for Ryan Demott, 1720 Washington Valley Drive, for the Stewartsville Volunteer Fire Company. One for Troy Rush, 110 Washington Street, for the Volunteer Fire Company. And one for Daniel Young of 1308 Bryan Circle, for the Volunteer Fire Company. Motion that they be approved.
I'll second it. Comment, roll call.
Perez?
Yes.
Siegel?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yes.
Freeland?
Yes. Brent, you don't have anything, right?
Everything I have is for closed.
Do you have anything, Michael? Okay.
Yeah,
That
actually,
needs action? That needs a vote?
yes. I have, I think, an important thing in these actions, as a matter of fact. All right, a couple things we already dealt with. There's just a couple other quick updates. Ravine Road is now open, by the way, so it's passable. I drove it the other day. It's not great, but you can get a vehicle, emergency or otherwise, past it. So that's one. I'm just taking these out of order just to keep things moving. All right, gas company is the last item. We talked about the substation. All right, and this is as much for Brent as for you folks. We talked last month briefly about this company, Synesis, that was looking for us to enter into a right-of-way agreement with them for a fiber optic line.
Yes.
Yeah, Synesis, did we put this in executive session
That was an
last time?
executive.
Because it's contract negotiations?
Yes.
I think we
Yes.
did.
Hypothetically, if there's not going to be any contract negotiations, because of what I'm about to say,
Okay, I don't know what you're about to say.
then let's do it in executive anyway, just to be safe, and I'll take it under council's advice.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay, fair enough. That will. You got 90% of it. I'm like this close to being done. Okay. Isn't he? Whatever. You're gonna buy me a drink up there.
I don't know what you're gonna say.
You're gonna
I
be
have
so
a-
thrilled. You know exactly what I'm gonna
Now-
say.
now
You're
I
gonna be
know
thrilled.
it.
But let's get to the point. Let me finish. Okay.
Just
The gas company, the 9 trees that they
Yes,
cut and so
right,
forth.
right.
Okay. They really are bugging me about getting an answer from you fine folks about what you want to do.
I thought we answered this already.
Well, no. Yes and no. We resolved this, and the resolution was that you
The
wanted...
fewest trees with the largest circumference.
Correct.
Yeah.
Fine. There's a new wrinkle, though, that must be considered. Heard Dawn Marie, email from that they will allow, Green Acres will allow these 146 trees. If we go with 3-inch caliper trees, we're going to get 146 new trees. These 146 trees could be planted on another Green Acres property, not D'Angelo. It doesn't have to be planted on the same property.
So now we want smaller trees so we can get more of them and put
Or
more
you
around
get
town.
329. 329 2-inch trees or 146 3-inch trees to replace the 9 specimen trees they got.
And scatter them all over town.
Well,
Yeah, the handle.
I see. I talked to Dawn Marie. We unfortunately didn't connect. We talked a little bit
Yeah.
before the meeting. My recommendation, because I don't think you want to put them all over town. I think it would become chaotic, and I think you could use the larger trees. You have 146, which is a lot of trees. It's all at their expense, of course. And you tree line a couple of the property lines up at the Hamlin piece. These are the properties you have to pick from, because it has to be Green Acres encumbered. Basically D'Angelo, Greenbrier on South Main, Amy, the corner of 57 and North Main, and Hamlin. Those are the Green Acres encumbered properties, the most visible, the most wide open. And again, I don't know if that's good or bad, but I mean, to tree lines and property lines, Dawn really thought that was the best place to put it.
Makes sense to me.
And they just want some direction, whether is that the trees and where they go, those are details that are gonna have to get worked out this spring, because obviously you're not planting trees
I hope
in
not.
January. Well, let's hope. Is it safe to say for me to report back to them that you will want the trees planted on another property as opposed to D'Angelo?
And that's Dawn Marie's recommendation.
Yes, I asked her to stay,
Yeah,
but
no, that's fine. I'm only speaking for myself. I'm fine with that. I kind of like the idea of, you know,
Water trees.
yeah, yes, yeah.
this,
So you could put some back there theoretically.
Yeah, you can put some back, but you don't need that.
look, these red properties, this is the township policy map, which we did for the township, I don't know when it was last year or whatever. Okay, but this is the Bible, per Green Acres. All the red properties are eligible properties, basically, that have Green Acres encumbrances.
Where's Greenwich Street? Can you orient?
Greenwich Street is right here.
Okay,
This is him.
okay, got it. Now I see where we're at.
Okay, D'Angelo is back
Yep.
here. That's where the trees obviously were cut. So you have the Greenbrier piece, you have the Hamlin piece, you have the Amy piece. What else did I add? What was? And some of these other are just Wyndham Farm open space parcels. I don't know if you. So that's for visual perspective. So what do you want me to tell them? That we will want them moved to another property, to this final locations to be determined in the spring?
Different properties then?
Only
Well,
the.
only
Only the
those
Green
red,
Acres, I
yes.
understand.
Yeah.
Because I get some complaints from some of the people that live up in Wyndham Farm that face the Hamlin property there about the growth that's there, that a lot of it that comes up into their property.
Where?
This, on the back, I guess those signals,
What growth?
I don't know.
Where
This,
Dominic Esposito lives?
around that section there,
That
yeah.
right there.
Yeah, they get a lot of growth coming over into their yards.
Oh, the tree line?
Yeah, the tree line, yeah.
So,
Or Paul.
That's the roundup.
Lost a lot.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, because then my question would be that if that's the case, and if that's, I don't know what's going there, I didn't see it, I'm just telling you what I've been told. So, would a tree being put there, would that help?
Well, that would definitely not be one of the locations I would suggest to treat. If we're gonna do it, just as, I would do it like back here to separate, I mean, I don't know, I mean, to somehow establish the limits.
A line.
Right.
You don't
A
wanna
natural
put the
barrier.
tree, exactly, create a future tree row. That's what we'll be doing. We have an opportunity to get literally, I mean, $100,000 worth of free trees here.
That's what I.
That's a barrier.
Would you
I-
do some in the
okay.
front, not, where's the power lines? On the side by the Hamlin property or by the bike path?
What bike path?
Where the walk path is, bike path? Which side?
No, that's on the other
No,
side.
that's on the other
That's on the
side.
other
I know,
side.
but where's
cemetery
the power
side.
lines?
Power lines are further past, like
No, are the
further.
power lines on the left side of the street?
Oh,
or right?
no,
They're
they're on the
cemetery
Hamlin
side.
side, they're on the
So
left,
they're
they're
on
on
the
the
left
left
side,
side.
you wouldn't put any,
In the front.
in the front you can't.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't do that. You'd
Plus,
end up moving.
until with the firehouse situation,
Yeah.
we don't plant trees anyway until that gets resolved.
That's why it's gotta go in the back, back.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, my recommendation is just to authorize you to tell them that we want them on different properties, and then you and Dawn Marie or whoever can work out the specific location.
yeah,
You
and
just need to put a firehouse.
there's no magic to this. I'm sure we can come up with a few different good ideas. And it's just that I guess they're really under the gun apparently.
Do we need a motion to authorize you to tell them that?
It couldn't hurt.
Yeah, I'll make a
Go
motion.
for it.
Second.
Comment, all those in favor? Aye.
All right, I think that actually might be it because we covered the other stuff before, other than the executives. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
What is it for the points? We've done levels here.
This is in our-
Okay.
This in our-
This was a great
Oh,
job.
oh, okay.
We're going to public comment? What's-
I don't know. Michael, is there anything else?
Oh, no, I was done. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was
done.
waiting for you. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I said I
Okay.
was done. I'm
That's why
sorry.
Angela stood up. A motion to go into public comment.
Make the motion.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Angelo Bayless, 729 Jackson. Two things. The camera, obviously that will work with your system. My only concern is putting it on the website. I don't know how you're going to do it, but if you put it right on the website, it's going to take a lot of bandwidth. You might want to, I don't know if you've checked with the person who handles your website to see the effect of it on your website, because I know if I don't put it on YouTube, and if I put, I had one small segment that I put right on my website, it dragged everything right down. So you got to check with them to make sure. I don't know if you've done that.
Right.
Okay. So just make sure that how you're going to do it. That's my only concern with that. One other issue is, I don't know if you saw the paper about Kenyuk's son, but, injured in Afghanistan. I think the township should do something. His son was injured in Afghanistan.
Bill King?
Yeah, PFC Ryan Kenyuk. He arrived home, I guess it was yesterday, for 2 weeks. He was, his vehicle, he was a gunner struck an improvised explosive device, and he suffered a neck injury, was treated in Afghanistan before being transferred to a base in Germany. So he's home for 2 weeks. So, it'd be nice to do something for him.
Was this in today's paper?
It's like it was yesterday's.
That was all the fire trucks last night? And all the emergency equipment?
I did hear it.
Yeah, that was about him last night.
All right, so I just thought I'd mention it.
Okay, thank you, Angela.
Yeah, they had all the surrounding townships in Greenwich and.
They met him when he came down the exit
Yeah.
ramp.
Motion to close public comment. Second, all those in favor? Before we go into executives, do we need to discuss, we just go into executive session now?
My understanding, we're going to go to executive session to discuss pending litigation, the Zoplis litigation.
Okay.
Also, my draft letter to Jim Piper under contract negotiations.
Right,
The letter from Brock Eichler as anticipated litigation.
right, okay. All right, I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.